Go. Welcome back to Christmas at Home. We're working on block 5. And these are the blocks that we've already completed. And this is the block we're going to make for this next one. And you'll notice that we've got plain squares and quarter square triangles, or the block that you call hourglass. And that's it. Very easy to do. Now, your instructions tell you to cut your square in quarters, but I'd like to show you a way of making the hourglass, of sewing it together and then cutting it. And we can do that because we've got 2 greens that are the same. So you're going to take a white square and pair it with your light green, and you're going to take the dark green and pair it with your other light, and you're going to sew a half square triangle. I've marked my sewing lines, and I'm going to make 2 half square triangles. Okay, sew it and cut it apart. Now here are my 2 half square triangles. What I'm going to do is I've pressed towards my light green on both of them, and now I can take those 2 half square triangles, butt the seams against each other, and then I'm marking again my sewing line the other way. And take a peek and make sure that you've got this shape where you've got 2 lights and your light, and the back, and then your dark. Go ahead and sew and cut, and there you have your quarter square triangle or your hourglass block. And you can either press to one side, or I like to take the back, and on the seam just do a little twist, and you've got a little 4 patch. Okay, now you're ready to trim. And of course, we've got our quarter square, our tucker trimmer, 3.5 inches, and of course you're lining it up with the seam, making sure that's our center, and you always want to make sure that your ruler is right there at the seam line, and you'll trim it. Now you'll notice that I've got quite a bit of trim. So rather than cutting my squares to start with at 4.5, these are actually cut 5. I like to upsize it just a bit. At 4.5, you're going to be real tight. I think you really have enough fabric to cut your little squares at 4 3/4. So I would advise just cutting them a little larger than 4.5. Then you've got a little more room to trim. Okay, now when we're putting our blocks together, we've got all of these points that we want to match up. So your precision pinning, you're going to take a pin and you're going to go straight down right at that little V and come down at the bottom one, and you want to keep that nice and straight up and down, and then come back with another pin on each side. So when you're sewing, then both of these points are right there, and then you can take this pin out. So just fuss with that a little bit, straight up and down, and then on each side. And there is your block. Very easy this month. I think that was all I needed to say. Have fun.